I got my gold pan out here. I got a couple particles in the pan that I thought you might want to take a peek at. I've got a little reflection going on, but gold in the pan. Nothing better. Oh wait, yeah, there's another one. And another one. Yeah, look at that. We got a few of them in here. Oh, let's see. Yeah, look at that. Oh man, look at the reality of this pan. Isn't this gorgeous? I wish I could say that this is something that I mined over the weekend or something, but no, this was sent in to me. Um, I just wanted to throw it in the pan and make sure it's clean, make sure all the sand and whatnot is out of it. It's pretty clean. I see a little bit of particles floating around in there. We'll rinse out real quick, but yeah, I'm looking forward to running this batch. Gorgeous. I almost hate melting it down, but we're gonna create something beautiful out of it after we refine it. What a great pan. We got about, what was it, 35 grams? 45? I gotta look again. Doesn't matter what it is just gorgeous. A lot of work went into this. Alright, so let's get it in the lab and we're gonna get busy. Hi, I'm Jeff, and this is Lithic Metals. Welcome back to the lab. I have our gold baked dry, and it is ready to be quartered with our silver. We have just over 45 grams of gold flake here, and we have triple that in silver. So we're going to make our alloy. I know it looks like 6 times the amount, but it's actually only 3 times the amount. It shows you the density difference between the two metals. Boy, this is really something else. A lot of work right here. This is the collector that panned all this gold. This is about 10 years worth of work right here. Isn't that something? 10 years worth of work. And wow. Something else. I wish I lived in such a gold rich area. The stuff that these little particles that you're seeing over here, this dust, that's the kind of stuff we find around here. Yeah, if I had gold like this around here, I know what I'd be doing every night. I'd be down in the creek. I do pan locally here in our rivers, but it's literally, the pieces I'm finding are about the size of a mosquito's eye. Gets you good at gold panning, hunting for those tiny little things, but whew, a lot of work for little reward. But this is 10 years worth of hard work, and but we're gonna turn it into something real special here. So let's get this process going. I have a melt dish ready. Pour in our silver. I'm using silver crystal for this because it's handy at the moment. All right. Beautiful dish here. All right, let's get the fan going and we'll melt this down. Right. All right, I just melted down our alloy, our quartered gold, and poured it into shot. Now, this is the oddest shot pour I've ever had. You can see I got some clumpy bits that I'm not that thrilled about. I'd like to have them a little more uniform, like this one right here maybe. But then you can also see there's powdery stuff all over. Let's take another look at that pour. I'm not quite sure what happened. Two factors that I can think of off the top of my head. I filled that pot full of water, ice water actually, a while ago, and the ice melted by the time I got down to it. I wouldn't say the water was room temperature, but it was pretty close, and I thought, it's only a few ounces of material, it should be fine. Normally, the water that I pour into is much more chilled, but I've poured into room temperature water before, never had that experience. I've also experienced glaze falling into that water and kind of giving a big pop. Nothing like what we just saw, but still popping water out of the pot. This was completely different. This just obliterated an amount of our alloy to the teeniest little pebbles or round spheres that you can imagine. I really don't know what happened. I hate not knowing. So if you're watching and you have an idea of what I did wrong, I'd like to know. I'd like to know the science behind it. At first I thought that, oh wow, a big chunk of glaze must have fell in there and just kind of blew up, right? But upon looking at the shot, that explosion underwater there was a big drip of silver just going kablooey. So I wish I had a camera under the water to see that in slow motion. That would have really been something to see, but I don't. And here's what we're left with. I'm half tempted to melt it back down again. Oh, one other factor was This was gold flake, so I don't know what impurities were in there. That maybe some of the impurities clumped together and poured in at the same time with a chunk of silver, and maybe that reacted violently to the water. But whatever it is, here's what we're left with. Like I was saying, I'm half tempted to melt it back down and to pour it into decent shot, but I think we're just going to move forward with this. This fine stuff's going to dissolve. It's going to pull that base metal out pretty quick. So instead of just keep talking, I'm just going to start getting at it here. I got to have some nitric acid. What I have here is some used distilled rinse water. So now I'm going to use that for this process. And it is cold. And I'm adding just about 50 mLs of nitric acid. Now we can let that do its thing. You see, just by pouring that in, how that it's like sand. Those little pebbles are so tiny. Yeah, I think the reaction's going to be pretty quick. Another thing I noticed is how silver this alloy is. Typically, with imported gold, it looks kind of dirty silver, brassy, kind of some golden hues to it. This turned out really bright silver, so we'll see. Obviously, that gold wasn't pure, so it was less than pure, and I don't know the amount less. I can only guess, but I'd rather side on the air of caution. And I just wanted to make sure that I was able to pull these base metals out. So that's what I'm left with. I think I started rambling, so sorry about that. So here's where we are. We can already see there's a reaction happening. I'm going to turn on the heat. I'm going to start low and let it get going. So we'll see how this turns out. Really crazy that pouring into shot. I'm not certain quite yet what the real factor was that caused that, but I'm glad I was wearing protective gear, just in case something would have flew out that was hot. It didn't. Everything stayed in. A little bit of sprinkles of water came up, but thankfully all the material was in the pot. I dried it and weighed it just to double check. So all right, here we are. I'm gonna let this go for a while, and we'll check back on it when we see a little progress. Right, see our reaction has dwindled. So I'm gonna add a bit more nitric acid here. Get us close. Well, this solution sat overnight, and I just heated it back up now. I want to make sure that I burned off as much of the free nitrates as possible. I think we're at that point now. Look how clear that solution is. There is a good deal of base metal in solution right now, and it is as clear as you can imagine. It looks like pure silver in solution. So that leads me to obviously believe that there's an extremely small amount of copper, if any. Same with platinum group metals. I would imagine there are some, but extremely, extremely low. It's primarily silver. And I'm going to let this cool back down now. Pour that off. decant the solution, and then I'm going to add fresh distilled water and nitric acid, and just make sure that we got everything else and see if there's any further reaction. I believe there will be. I still see some coloration that I believe could change, but only one way to know for sure. So I'm going to let this cool down, turn off the heat now. I'll pour that off and get a new solution mixed up. I decanted that solution. We have a fresh batch of distilled water and nitric acid, and you can see we still have a good reaction going, so I'm going to keep at it until that stops. Alright, our reaction has stopped. I've turned off the heat. I'm letting this cool. I'm going to decant this solution. The solution still has quite a bit of free nitrate still in it, so I'm going to decant this and keep it separate, and I'll use this solution for the next process, the next batch that I run. So right now I'm going to pour this off, and we'll come back when we're all set to mix up some aqua regia. Alright, I decanted our old solution. I rinsed it several times, boiling it, just to try to remove any of those deep silver particulates that are in solution, still like stuck into that sponge. And that gets the vast majority of that out. Some can still get trapped in there, so we might see some particulates later that we need to filter out. But moving past that, I mixed up some hydrochloric acid, added 22 mLs of nitric acid, and now we have our reaction going here pretty strong. I haven't even turned on the heat yet, so I think I'll do that right now. Just get it cooking a little faster. Low heat, and we'll let this go for a while and check back with it in a bit. Alright, well, our gold sponge has gone into solution. I don't see any little particles left. I do see a couple little white particulates floating around, and that's likely some silver chloride in there that I'll have to filter out. I do suspect that I have a bit more nitric acid, free nitrate still in this solution, so I'm going to keep boiling this away for a little bit. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to I added a bit more hydrochloric acid already, and boiled it down some, but I'm going to add a little bit more, and we'll see what happens here. Yeah, all the gold sponge has gone into solution, and the little white particulates that I was seeing, they're not that evident. So, however, after I boil this down a little bit, probably do that 2-3 times. I just want to make sure that I evaporated off all those free nitrates. After that, I'm gonna add in. I'm gonna at least double, maybe triple the volume with distilled water, and then if there's still those silver chlorides in this solution, by diluting the solution, that usually drops them out, and when I filter this solution, it'll catch the vast majority of that. So, all right, so that's where we're at right now. So I'm gonna let this boil again, and I'm gonna evaporate that down a couple times, make sure all those free nitrates are gone, and we'll go on to the next step. All right, you can see that much of this is evaporated out. So what I'm gonna do next is add a bit more hydrochloric acid. And we'll go through this evaporation process one more time. You see in the upper left side here of the beaker, there's this little action going on. That is a piece of 24 karat gold that I put in there just to see if I was going to get a reaction. And now if you look close, you might see some bubbling. There's no fumes coming up or anything. I believe that bubbling is just because metal is contacting the base, that it gets the hottest and it starts to boil. The bubbles actually flow off. So the reaction is very slight, if any. So I'm going to add this hydrochloric acid, freshen this up a bit. I think this is somewhat unnecessary, but I'd rather spend a little bit more time on this part of the process than adding so much sodium metabisulfite later on to drop the gold and then having to wash that and all that. It's just better to go through it right now. And yeah, so that's that. So we'll let this boil off again, and I think we're pretty much good to go after that. Alright, I'm not sure if it's obvious, if the lighting's different, if you could tell or not, but I've had a couple day delay. While I was letting this cool, my exhaust fan seized up. But I like to be prepared, so I have a spare fan boxed up, brand new, ready to go. I went to go swap it out, and I noticed a little something that I didn't like within the ductwork of the exhaust fan here. So I decided I could either do a quick fix or a real fix. I decided on the real fix. So pulled everything out, replaced my hood, redid the ductwork, brand new lights, new fans, a bit new construction, but now I'm good to go and I'm back in action. It took me about a day and a half, all day yesterday, and about 6 hours today, and I've been crunched for time, so I've been trying to get this all done and put back together because I have an appointment here in a little bit, and I'm gonna go take care of that right now. So here we are. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get this experiment going again.
Jeff, what are we doing today, man?
Going skydiving.
Any special reason?
Last time I was here, Awesome, bro.
Come here, man. Man, what'd you think of that?
That was spectacular. Spectacular.
Man.
Thanks so much for taking me up.
Yeah, good job, dude.
Dude, thanks.
No, you
You're
did great.
awesome.
What was your favorite part? Leaving the plane, free fall,
I don't
flying
know,
the
man.
parachute?
I don't know, the whole thing.
Yeah.
The jump in the plane was insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, buddy.
Just incredible. What a beautiful day for it.
Welcome to the world of skydiving, man.
I think I might be hooked, Rick.
Man,
you
I know.
got me, bro.
Love
thanks
making
so
your
much.
dreams come true, brother.
Oh, thank you so
I'll
much.
see you next time.
All right. Back to the lab.
Oh my Lanta. I think my stomach is still 14,000 feet in the air. That was incredible. 14,000 feet. I just jumped out of an airplane. 14,000 feet. That's 2.5 miles in the air. That might not be like low Earth orbit, but it sure was incredible. Oh my gosh. What a time. What a time. I recommend that for everyone. Oh, my legs hurt though. Something about maybe the harness yanking you up when the parachute opens. I don't know, I feel like I just got done with the jiu-jitsu tournament. But I don't care. Maybe it's adrenaline. I don't know. That was incredible. Yeah, I told some friends that for my 50th birthday I wanted to go parachuting. And I figured, give me some time to prepare for it and stuff. Well, two of my wonderful friends arranged it for me. I was surprised because I only turned 49 this year, but so I kind of jumped the gun. But man, what an adventure! What fun! Man, I went tandem with this professional named Rick. He had I can't remember what he said. I was so hyped up. It was like 6,000 or 8,000 jumps he had. That was my first. Totally incredible. What an adventure. I'm so thankful to have that scratched off my bucket list. It was a great thing to do and a great memorial for a friend of mine who, the last time I was there, who went. All right, no time to waste. Back to work. Been sitting here for quite a while now, a few days. Well, not here, it's been transported around the lab a little bit here, but now we are back in action. What I want to do here, I believe I used up all the free nitrates, evaporated them off, and we see in the upper left corner of the beaker here, I got a little piece of gold that's been sitting there a few days, and there's no change to that either, so I think we're good to go. I'm going to dilute this solution with some water, see if we get any silver nitrates to drop out of solution. Grab a stir stick. A lot of times by adding that water, some silver chlorides will drop out of solution if they're in there. Even at this point, I can switch from distilled water to tap water, but I didn't. I just used distilled water. Looks to me like we're good to go here. I'm going to set up our Buckner funnel and get a filter in there, and we'll filter this off. All right. All right. Now you see the solution is a little bit cloudier now. So that's great. We'll be able to filter all that out. ice is made from tap water. So I'm actually gonna let this ice chill for a bit. Settle for a bit, just to see if any chlorides pop out of solution. And if they do, I'm gonna filter it out again. But yeah, so far so good. I think that's enough. Let that sit for a few minutes, and then we'll drop out our gold. All right, before we drop our gold out of solution, we want to make sure that there is gold in solution. So we're going to check it with our stannous chloride. And sure enough, gold is in solution. And even though we know gold is in solution, we just want to test it. We're essentially testing our stannous chloride. So after we drop gold out of solution, we'll test it again. If it shows up negative, we can rest assured that we don't have a false negative. Alright, some SMB here. My spoon. Let's drop this gold. It looks to me that we have the gold dropped. The least amount of SMB that I can use, sodium metabisulfite, the better. I don't have any excess that I have to wash out later. So let's grab our stannous chloride again, and we'll do another test. If we didn't drop it all out, we're really close. No reaction. All right, we're good. Cover this back up. We'll give this time to settle, and once the gold drops to the bottom of the beaker, we'll decant the solution and we'll go on with our next step. Alright, it's been about 10 minutes, closer to 15 minutes. The gold is pretty much settled. I'm going to give it a few more minutes and then I'm going to decant the solution. We'll start our rinse procedure. Alright, I just decanted our solution. Had a hint of some color left to it, so it definitely did pull something out. Right now I'm going to rinse this off with some hydrochloric acid. gonna heat that up. So make sure we get all that SMB out of there. We have our solution. Do the HCl rinse here, and then we'll do 2 distilled water, hydrochloric acid, water again, not hydrochloric acid, ammonia, then water again. All right, we'll just keep going. All right, I decanted the HCl rinse. Now we got some distilled water. Let's shake this up a little bit here. We'll get the heat back on. This off. Give it one more distilled water rinse, and then I'm going to switch over to ammonia. Poured off that first distilled water rinse. We'll do a second. Get the heat back up. Next up is ammonia. Back on with the heat. One more rinse in distilled water. Turn the heat back up. This will be our final rinse in water, and then we will move back to AR. We'll drop this down and drop this gold down into solution one more time. do this process all over again, and we can rest assured that we have quality 3/9 fine or better gold. Alright, our gold is in solution. I've evaporated off a lot of the excess solution and then rehydrated it with fresh hydrochloric acid. And now I'm going to add a bit of tap water. Iced tap water. I'm going to see if I can drop any of those chlorides out of solution if there is any. Find it unlikely that there will be, but if there is, I want to catch them now. Alright, I'm going to let that, I turned the heat off, I'm going to let it just chill for a while, literally, and then we'll filter it off. Alright, let's turn this exhaust fan up. We're going to drop this gold. we'll give our gold some time to settle and drop to the bottom. Then we'll decant our solution, start our rinse procedure. We'll be buttoning this batch up. All nice and dry. Let's go weigh it up. All right, our gold is dry. And let's see, we started off with just over 45 grams of our panned gold. And here is our refined 3/9 fine gold precipitant. Let's get it weighed up. Switch this over to grams. Alright, moment of truth. Let's see what we got out of that batch. 34.76. Not bad. Not bad. Pretty good yield. I was a little concerned. You hate losing weight when you refine that stuff, when you refine that material. But here we are. You know, now we got some pure gold, and I think that's what's important at this point. Now it's time for me to contact the owner and figure out what we're going to do with this material. Once I know, we'll get set up and we'll finish this project up. Alright, I just got the word. We're going to make a 1/2 ounce bar and a few 110s. So, let's get the fan going and melt this down. We'll turn it into shot. Alright, I think I'm all set. I'm going to melt up a few buttons here for the 110s. And at the end, I'm going to pour a little square 1/2 ounce bar. And, that's that. Let's get to it. Alright, I'm giving these pieces a quick bath in hot dilute sulfuric acid. That'll remove any glazing that might be stuck to the pieces. And then we'll move back to the bench. Alright, let's get cracking on these Mercuries. Alright, our pieces are all finished up. All I have left now is to seal the 1/2 ounce in plastic, encapsulate it so it's safe and not going to get scratched up. I have capsules that the 110s are going to go into. They will be numbered and boxed as well. I have the COAs coming in tomorrow, and they're going to reflect the point that that this gold was mined by the individual who owns them. So I typically don't put people's names on COAs, but this one I think is important. The fact that this person spent the last 10 years collecting all these little particles of gold, all the fun and hard work that went into it. So I definitely want that reflected in the COA. Whew, this is a long video. I already started editing it, so I can tell it's an hour, so I'm not going to go into all the boxing up and the COA signing. You guys have seen that before, I think. So I think I'm just going to sign off here. Thanks for tuning in. Definitely had a lot of fun making this video. Had a couple little setbacks here and there that we had to overcome. Had the brief break that got me out of the lab for a few hours to go jump out of an airplane from a couple miles up in the air. Man, was that exciting. That was so awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed the footage. I've gotten to see the footage already, and I started to edit it in, so obviously you've seen it already if you got to this point. But it's still kind of fresh for me, and yeah, I look like a pretty much look like a madman. I never had so much fun. It was so much fun and so much intense fun packed into 1 minute. That free fall was really something else. Screaming like a madman the whole way down. I loved it. I'm definitely hooked. I can't wait to do it again. I'm definitely going to do it on my 50th birthday next year. At least given the opportunity. Yeah. All right. So this is a 2-minute close. Thanks for sticking it out with me. I appreciate it. Hope you like the pieces. Hope you thought it was fun to follow along from that starting pan of gold that we had to our finished product. They turned out great. Thanks for joining me. I'm Jeff. This is Lithic Metals, and I'll see you next time.